Hello everyone, this is Sonja Redden, Tranquil Parenting Coach. I am here today to share how I use art in the program. Um, I, One of my goals is to make sure that parents and their children are given the opportunity to learn to use their imagination to create different ways of doing things. Right now, whatever they're doing is not working. So why not think of other ways to do it? And one way to get creativity and imagination flowing through a family is to add art. Uh, some of those um, some of those projects that I have is having them create their all fine place, and that kind of helps them when they're in conflict. Um, I send them away, have them draw where their favorite location is when they're not feeling good. Where do they go? What do they do? My favorite place is my family has property up north, so we go. There's a certain spot that I love to sit in, right next to the fire pit, and it's got all the beautiful trees, and so I drew that. That is my all fine place. And I'm an artist, so it looks like I'm an artist. Not everyone has to have drawings that depict fine replications of art. They could be more expressing what the feelings are to them. So I hear so many other people say, well, I'm not an artist, I can't do that. That's not what this is about. It's about you documenting your feelings, documenting your that location, just to say that is the place that is my all fine place. That's where I can return to in my imagination when conflict happens. I've created a list here because I don't want to forget any of these items. Okay? The next one is coming up with questions and answers for your children. Every Monday, I sit down with the kids, and even if they're with their dad, I text the questions. It gives me something to talk to them while I'm on the phone with them, instead of saying, hey, what are you doing while you're at your dad's? What are you doing? Who are you near? It gives me something that's fun, that's creative, and it helps us with our relationship. And it might take 20 minutes or less. So the questions might be, if you were a dinosaur, which dinosaur would you be and where would you live? And so they would use their imagination and they'd respond. The next question might be where, if you were a color, what color would you be and why would you be that color? Are you a warm color? Are you a cold color? So that's something else that helps them with their creativity. So another reason why you want them to use creativity is because it does help them with problem solving when they're stuck with something and they're creating something at school, or they're creating something in their science class or their robotics class, and they're looking at it and they're only seeing it in one way. These type activities will help them be able to, well, if it doesn't work that way, let's try another way. So that's why I really, really believe in using the arts, whether it be journaling, whether it be writing, whether it be music. All of those help create problem-solving skills for kids. So the next one would be, I have a website. It's Billy Bear for Kids. It's Billy Bear, the number 4, kids.com. It's about 20 years old right now. It has over 60,000 free materials on there. It's kind of like some of the programs that you might see that's packaged online, where there's a subscription that you have to pay. And the website's kind of old school right now. It's being updated, but there's 60,000 free materials on there for kids. You can use the math worksheets. It's all of its educational materials, and that also helps them. And it's in a fun way. It's not where it's like school, where it's just a worksheet. I know teachers try to make things fun, but they've got a Common Core. They've got all sorts of regulations that they're working with. So while you're at home, and when you have your little kids and they're not in school yet, or it just gives them something to do. And if you want to use the paper dolls, or there's online games, or there's storybooks that they can create storybooks themselves. There's tons of stuff on there, so check it out, have fun with that. Tea parties. I work with parents sharing with them what a tea party is and how to have a tea party. There's not too many parents that do tea parties anymore, I found. So tea parties are not for talking about what you like, what you don't like about your guys' relationship. It's just having a good time and dressing up and having a tea party at home. And I have this little cheat thing that I do. Shh, don't tell my kids. But I buy like cookies and I put them on a plate, and then I buy juice and I put them in the teapot, and then we use their favorite cups. But they don't know that I didn't buy those cookies. They think that I'm amazing. Anyhow, we have the family business meeting, how to have a family business meeting. I have a step-by-step process on how to do that, how to get kids to do chores. I have a superb plan on how to get kids to do chores, and they just do it. It's great. But that's really creative, and you have to have an imagination to create these type of things. So working with parents and imagination brings them to coming up with these ideas. The next is how to get your kids to go to sleep. Some of them want to stay up if they've been with dad one week and then mom the next week. How to work with having two different schedules and still make it so it's okay. Kids can understand that, but just getting them to that point, that little transition right before they understand, is so hard when they're screaming at 11 o'clock at night because they want to sleep with dad, because that's what they do at mom's house. And dad's like, oh, I don't want to sleep with you because I don't believe in that. And there's two different parenting styles, so I've got some tricks with that. Pretty creative, and it might include getting them a goldfish or a betta or something. But anyhow, it's really easy to do, but it's step-by-step process. Let's see, transition practice. So some kids don't like transition time, and they cry and they scream. The parents are going back and forth, but they don't want to go with you. They do want to go with you. I have a step-by-step process on how to do practice with transitions, or allowing the opportunity for the parents to come up with practices for transitions to get the children so they're not crying during transitions. Let's see, art tag, automatism, art tag. That's one of my favorite projects, where the two children are, well, it's two children, or you could use two hands, or you could use the mom and the dad, or child and mom, or child and dad, whatever. So you have two pens, you have a piece of paper, and you just play tag. One person starts, and you follow them around the paper, and then after you're done, you do that for about 3 minutes, and then you switch who's playing tag once you catch them, or you say a minute, or 30 seconds, or whatever time you decide, however big of a piece of paper you have. And then after you're done, you look at the piece of paper, use your imagination, and see if you can see anything in there, and then color it as you see it. That one's great. That's one of my favorites, by the way. I have quite a few trauma-informed expressive arts projects, which would be journals, fat books, note cards, showing gratitude. I have a tree project talking about roots and branches and how you got to where you are, and making an own icon for yourself. For the younger ones, or even, anyone could go or could work with the exercise of drawing sad, happy, scared, just drawing normal feelings, like what are those feelings. This is my house, drawing for younger kids. It actually works with adults too, but you'll be surprised how many kids draw both parents, and they include step-parents, and they include dogs and animals, and the bear needs a bed, and the bear needs food, and the bear needs shelter. So drawing, you could use it with a duck if you want to, but I prefer a bear just because of Billy Bear. And also, one of my favorite things is for families to brainstorm and come up with their own values, their own core values, their own mission that they get to live by. And that's so creative, in having everyone be able to have a valuable part in this art process, is where a lot of families, there's hierarchy, which, whatever your parenting style is, there's hierarchy, there's always hierarchy in the world. But when you're in the plane, when you're doing art, everybody's on the same plane. Everyone has the same hierarchy. So If a child is drawing a line and a parent's drawing a line, they're both drawing a line, and there's nothing bad about drawing this line. Everyone's on the same level. It makes it so nice. Children don't have the vocabulary that us adults have. So if you ask them to draw how they're feeling that day, they would be able to show much better on a piece of paper than if you were to ask them. Because if you said, how are you feeling? They might say, well, I feel just fine. But they might have this guilt inside of them, and they might have a sadness that they're not going to share with you because they don't know exactly what that feeling is, especially if they're 2 or if they're 5 or if they're afraid to tell you. But if you have them draw it on a piece of paper, it might be so much easier for them. It puts the whole divorcing situation on a whole different level, where parents can learn to communicate with their children, and it minimizes harm. It gives you ways to communicate. It gives you ways to deal with conflict management. It gives you a much better creative, puts you in a much better creative place, so you can come up with different ways to do things, different solutions. It gives them coping skills, and everyone knows that the arts help you with your mind so much and help you cope with life so much better. And once these kids go through their grief, and they're into their growth, where they have grown and they've moved out of this, and the parents have too, they're going to be so much more resilient than the kid sitting next to them that has never gone through anything. If this is all done correctly, then your children will be just as socially set as children who are not in divorce situations, if it's done correctly. If it's done with a lot of conflict and a lot of arguing and a lot of frustration, where most parents are when they come to me, then their children are going to be a mess. It's a really sad place where they could possibly end up if it's not done well. So with all of this, it helps minimize harm on children. So that is what I do with art with this program, and it's a lot of fun. Most of the parents, when they first start, they're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to draw my all fine place, but they do it. And then further and further on into the program, they're actually excited about all of this, and they like it. They absolutely love it, especially the automatism piece, because you never know what that's going to turn out to be. And when you're working with little kids, of course, you have to make sure that there's circles and squares and triangles and stars that they're, that they're aware of. But it gives them something to do in their journaling that can be done easily, can be done all day long, every day. And it's not that they're trying to replicate a piece of work when they don't claim that they're an artist. So it gives them that creative piece that can pull them along. So if you have any more questions, just comment on this video and I'll answer you, okay? Have a great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.